Boosie is not playing with y'all when it comes to his kids. And this latest situation proves it. A promoter out in Naptown disrespected Boosie's daughter by calling her the B word, and you already know Boosie wasn't about to let that slide.
You ain't got no respect for me. You ain't got no respect for my family. You do some shit like that, I can't rock with you, man.
When his daughter Eviona, aka Poison Ivy, got played by some Indianapolis promoters, he went straight to IG Live to call them out. He said they were straight broke and claimed they messed with her money and ran a shady operation. Boosie wasn't just mad at the promoters. He threw the whole city under the bus, said he's done with Naptown for good and won't be performing there ever again, even though he's shown love to the city for years.
And played with my daughter money in Naptown. Broke ass, just ain't got money, ain't got no back end, just ain't got money, bro, just broke.
He didn't stop there. He also warned other artists not to book shows in Indianapolis, saying they won't get their back end either. And if those same promoters want him back, Boosie said they'd have to pay him 4 times what they owe. But there's 2 sides to every story, and the Naptown people actually had something to say about it. Soon after Boosie went on live to throw shade at Naptown, the promoter clapped back, saying he did pay Eviona her back end. According to him, the whole thing was just a misunderstanding that even turned physical. He claimed folks from the South might not do the math as quick, but it wasn't intentional. And once Eviona allegedly put hands on him, he said the business side of things was a wrap.
You were supposed to have my money when I got off the plane. Get mad. I'm looking at her like, hold on now, like the money's here. I just put it on the table.
The promoter from Indianapolis said things started off smooth. Eviona wanted some green to get her right, so he agreed to cover it. He gave her $450 in cash, but told her $80 of that was going toward whatever the good stuff that she asked for earlier. According to him, she agreed in the moment, but later switched up and claimed he only gave her $450 flat, not understanding the $80 was included. He felt the whole issue was just a miscommunication, maybe even a math mix-up, and tried to explain it to her. But instead of hearing him out, she snapped, asking for her full payment and claiming she should have had it the moment she got off the plane. The promoter said she then got physical, pushed him, and even told him to get out of the Airbnb before they started Twitch streaming. That's when things really escalated. He said her manager, Junior Boy, finally stepped in and grabbed him by the shirt, and it turned into a standoff. He made it clear he wasn't trying to disrespect anyone, but admitted he was heated and let some things slip out of anger. Still, he said if the roles were reversed and he had put hands on Eviona, the story would have blown up way differently. He wrapped it up saying the whole thing wasn't about him being broke or shady. It was just a misunderstanding that spiraled. But with Boosie dragging the entire Naptown scene and refusing to come back unless he's paid 4 times what's owed.
I'm not coming back to Naptown. It's over with for Naptown. Appreciate all the love y'all showed me through all the years, but I'm not coming back to Naptown. It's over with. You want me back, nigga, gotta pay that time for what they took from my daughter.
The promoter clearly felt like things went way too far over what he saw as a small miscommunication. The speaker made it clear, street rules and business rules don't mix. You can't move in the business world the same way you move in the streets. There's structure, there's protocol, and when you ignore that, folks stop wanting to work with you. And that's exactly what might happen with Eviona if this behavior keeps up. Now, Boosie jumped into the mix too. He dropped a bet in the comments after seeing the video where the promoter allegedly called his daughter out her name. Of course, Boosie gonna be ready to go to war behind that, no surprise there. But in the business world, when there's a problem, you try to talk it out first. And if that don't work, you lawyer up. What you don't do is put hands on people, cause once it gets physical, that deal is off. No more business and most certainly no more money. If someone still wants their payment after that, it's gonna have to come back in blood. So yeah, if what the promoter is saying is true, Eviona was wrong for reacting the way she did. It sounded like a simple mix-up that didn't need to turn ugly. That said, the promoter wasn't completely in the clear either. Folks gotta stop booking artists without having all the money up front. Too many promoters gamble on door sales and try to pay the artist later. That's broke behavior, point blank. Hustling is cool, but don't bring folks out and then scramble to pay them last minute. That's not professional. That's janky. If the promoter had all the money ready from the jump, none of this would have happened. But we go a bit deeper into this whole thing between Boosie and his daughter because it's a mouthful. Poison Ivy ain't just Boosie Badaz's daughter. She's out here trying to build her own name in the rap game, and she's making sure folks know she's more than just somebody's kid. She's rapping for her, not just her last name. Ivy been in her bag, pushing her music and proving she's got bars without riding her daddy's coattails. She's talked about how it ain't easy being the kid of a rap legend. Everybody wanna box her in like, oh, that's Boosie's daughter, instead of seeing her grind. She even said her fans helped her come up with the name Poison Ivy, and she's been dropping tracks that really show off her talent and hunger. But one thing is for sure, and two are for certain, her and Boosie. It's complicated. Ivy's been real about her sexuality. She's a lesbian, and she says Boosie hasn't exactly been supportive. He's said some wild stuff in the past, making it clear he ain't comfortable with her lifestyle, especially when it comes to her being around the younger siblings. He wants grandkids the right way, whatever that means.
It's our family, it's never been that way. You know, it's never been accepted. It's never, we had our preacher.
But in September last year, Boosie went on Croatia Please and basically put all their business out there. He said he banned Ivy's girlfriend from coming around their house to keep her from contaminating the younger siblings.
She still can't bring her situation to our house. My daughter is grown.
Well, why? She's grown.
Because I don't want it to contaminate her other. It's a generation.
Ivy didn't stay quiet either. She clapped back with some emotional posts, saying his comments really hurt her. And the worst part, he never even tried to talk to her about it in private. That bond between them, yeah, it's shaky.
You rather go to the internet and have a conversation with the internet about your kids before you come to us and have that conversation.
But even with all that, she still says she got love for him, and her siblings got her back regardless. Let's be real. Folks always trying to say she the female Boosie, just off the strength of who her dad is. But Ivy's made it clear she ain't just following his blueprint. She's trying to stand on her own and keep it real in her music. A lot of people respect how she speaks on family stuff and her personal life without sugarcoating it. That vulnerability, that's what's got fans rocking with her. Despite all that heat with Boosie, Ivy's still solid with her siblings. She says they've been holding her down through all this, and she's not about to let anyone twist it like she's some bad influence. She's actually trying to show them what it looks like to be independent and real about who you are. Okay, now if you're wondering what's up with her music, not much has dropped lately, but honestly, that's not even her main focus right now. She's been putting her energy into pushing for LGBTQ+ visibility and speaking out against the toxic stuff that still exists in hip-hop. She's tired of being quiet and wants to use her platform to call out the BS, even if it means going head-to-head with her own dad. Poison Ivy's out here, standing 10 toes down in who she is. And that's why so many people are starting to see her as more than just Boosie's daughter. She's become this voice of strength for young queer folks in hip-hop, especially those dealing with families who just don't get it. Her honesty, her pain, and her clapbacks are what's making her relatable. Let's be clear, Ivy's not out here trying to cancel Boosie. She's said it over and over. She loves her dad, but she's also not letting that love silence her. She's tired of him going to the media before coming to her. And yeah, they've got some deep-rooted stuff to work through, especially with him pushing the whole grandkids the right way narrative. But in all honesty, Boosie might have bigger fish to fry. He's not feeling too good. Boosie's also been dealing with some health stuff lately after a car accident, and he's been calling out Atlanta hospitals for how they treated him.
I don't even know how I did it, bro. Like, I've been getting off stage, going to the hospital as soon as I get off stage every night. Every night, bro.
Boosie is in serious health trouble this year, and things aren't looking good. He's been dealing with chest pain and breathing issues ever since a bad car crash, and doctors found he has left atrial enlargement, a heart condition linked to high blood pressure and diabetes. But the crazy part is that every time he went to hospitals in Atlanta, they brushed him off, even after multiple ER visits and x-rays. Naturally, he went off on social media, calling out the hospitals for their poor care. And even though he just got out of the hospital, Boosie hit the stage like nothing happened. Boosie's been diabetic since he was 19, and it's been a constant struggle.
Speaking of diabetes, number one, how long have you been a diabetic?
Since I was 19.
He's had some serious sugar crashes, waking up drenched in sweat from low blood sugar, and sometimes even forgetting his insulin while traveling. Back in 2015, he even threw up on stage because of it. More recently, he had to get IV fluids after a bad blood sugar spike. This isn't something that just comes and goes. It's a battle every day. Back in 2015, Boosie was diagnosed with kidney cancer. He survived and was declared cancer-free in 2023. But even after making it through that, he hasn't slowed down. He's still smoking, eating junk, and living life on the edge. Fans are worried because his heart issues could lead to something worse, like a stroke or even worse.
Health-wise, how are you at the moment?
Oh, I'm perfect. I'm more healthy than I ever been. You know, I'm more healthy. I might drink a beer every once in a while. I don't do no drugs. Don't drink no alcohol, really. No Patron. I don't do none of that. I work out. I got a personal trainer. Work out every 4 times, 5 times a week. I'm cancer free. I had a successful surgery. I'm cancer free. I'm eating better. I still dip and dab in bad foods, but I'm eating better.
They have been begging him to take better care of himself, but Boosie's not hearing it. He's all about living in the moment, prioritizing junk food and partying over any kind of discipline. Boosie spoke up about his mental health too on a few occasions. He spoke about the emotional toll of losing many close friends, including 14 to violence, with the loss of trouble in 2022 being particularly painful. He connects these experiences to PTSD-like symptoms.
But he gone, bruh, you know.
You were actually crying when you heard the news.
Yeah, man. I cried for hours straight on the plane.
Boosie describes himself as constantly hyper and emotionally on edge. Even though he feels the urge to cry, he channels that energy into his work instead. His time in prison left him with lasting psychological scars, but since his release, he's focused on finding joy and staying positive, refusing to let his past struggles define him. To manage his mental health, Boosie keeps his eyes on the future and prioritizes gratitude as a way to combat depression. For him, staying optimistic is crucial to keeping his head above water. He's also used his music as an outlet for his journey, releasing tracks like Mental Health and Anxiety, where he raps about dealing with grief and stress. Boosie's mental health journey is a blend of candid honesty and the tough persona that's often expected in hip-hop, adding to the growing conversation around trauma and emotional vulnerability in the culture. He admits that his emotions can be unpredictable, which lines up with some of Poison Ivy's frustrations about his public outbursts. Bottom line, Boosie's health is hanging by a thread between untreated chronic conditions and his risky lifestyle. It's only a matter of time before it starts to affect everything: his career, his family, his legacy. As for Poison Ivy, she hasn't publicly addressed her dad's health, but seeing Boosie struggle like this has to be tough for her. With his health at risk, it could push Ivy to work even harder on her own music career and legacy. But emotionally, it's probably rough. Boosie airs everything out publicly, while Ivy's been asking for privacy. The tension is real. Boosie Badazz and Poison Ivy have been making moves in the game, but their futures are looking pretty different. Boosie's all about expanding his hustle, moving beyond music to claim a bigger spot in entertainment. With the release of real music and 5 upcoming films like Twins and a horror project, he's showing he's more than just a rapper. He's a full-fledged storyteller. His music's always been his foundation, but now he's branching out into acting and film production, taking his career to the next level.
Quiet on set. Quiet on set. Action.
He's pushing forward with major tours lined up at venues like MGM Grand and CFG Bank Arena, although he'll have to balance that with his ongoing health risks. On top of that, Boosie's got a solid passive income coming from his music catalog, which saw a 45% bump in royalties last year. Not bad for a man who's been through the highs and lows of the industry. But with all that success comes the baggage. He's dealing with a public backlash from the Caleb Wilson scholarship controversy, and that could seriously hurt his reputation if it doesn't get handled right. And while Boosie's diversifying, Ivy's staying true to her roots but taking her own path. She's focused on carving out her space without being defined by her father's shadow. Ivy's doing her own thing in the music world, funding her own projects, and avoiding label control to keep her creative freedom intact. She's also using her platform to push for LGBTQ+ visibility in hip-hop, something that's needed more than ever.
You think you could beat Fly J 101?
Nah. I feel like she more conditioned than me right now. You know, she got way more lungs than me right now. She taller, but I ain't saying that I'ma get out there and play scared. So Fly J, if you won't do it, let's do it. Yeah, so Fly J, if you won't do it, let's do it. I'ma take my whooping and play you again. Yeah. And we done played when we was small too, so it ain't no, but I ain't gonna say I'm just gonna get on that bitch and it's gonna be just a go for me. You know what I'm saying? She run. I'm getting loaded.
Her advocacy is giving her a voice in a space that's often been closed off to people like her. Family dynamics still play a role in her journey, though. Ivy's got ongoing tension with Boosie, especially over how public and private family issues should be handled. But even with those disagreements, she's got support from her siblings that helps keep her grounded. Ivy's also thinking big. She's looking to take her earnings from music and reinvest them into businesses to become financially independent. It's clear she's not just about the music. She's building her empire for the long run. While Boosie's fighting his health issues and dealing with his own public controversies, his focus on mortality and legacy might either push him to reconcile with Ivy or widen the gap between them.
I'm crying in my 6-year-old lap. Oh, she keeps saying, "What's wrong, Daddy? What's wrong, Daddy?" And all I could think about in my head is him and his daughter. That's all I could think about, him and his daughter. And me dying and my daughter hurt. That's all I could think about, bro, crying on my daughter.
His health struggles could force him to rethink his priorities, which might mean more of a focus on family and healing, or it could lead to more conflict. Both of them are facing the changing landscape of hip-hop, but in different ways. Boosie is leaning into nostalgia with his music and projects, while Ivy is coming up in a time where authenticity and pushing boundaries matter. She's moving away from the old-school rap norms, focusing on creating her own lane. Boosie's got the legacy, but Ivy's got the fresh, modern energy that's shaking things up. Boosie's legacy is built on his hustle and rawness, but Ivy's carving her own identity. It's all about balancing their personal struggles with the public expectations that come with being in the spotlight. Their future paths are unfolding, but one thing's for sure, they both have big things ahead. Whether they're riding on nostalgia or pushing for change, what do y'all think? Where will these two end up in the end? Let us know all about it down below.